Hey, what's up, guys? This is David Chase Taylor of 911truther.org. Today is March 15th of 2026. So, based on breaking news and events, it appears that CIA headquarters located beneath CERN at Lake Geneva in Switzerland is going to stage a full-scale Chinese, Iranian, North Korean, and/or Russian attack, bombing, and/or invasion targeting one or more sovereign nations on the evening of March 15th, 2026 in the United States, and/or March 16th, 2026 elsewhere in the world. This event, which is basically the official start of World War III, is slated to transpire during the live broadcast of the 98th Academy Awards, i.e. the Oscars, which is currently going to be taking place in Los Angeles, California on the evening of March 15th. This is going to be televised nationally in the United States as well as globally on the internet. And so it's likely going to have a viewership of over 100 million people. And as we know, with live sporting events and live television events, the CIA always seizes on them to stage terror attacks, political assassinations, and wars. And the 2026 Oscars is going to be no different. What we know about this impending attack is that it's 100% certain that it's going to be CBRN in nature. That's chemical, biological, radiological, or nuclear in nature. This is going to be a game changer. This is going to basically take it up to the next level where in the aftermath of this attack, which is going to be horrific in nature. And it's likely going to feature the mass deployment of blister agents, blood agents, choking agents, or nerve agents. It's also likely going to feature some sort of a bio attack, likely featuring the release of a novel man-made airborne contagion designed to trigger a second global biological pandemic. And of course, it is specifically designed to trigger all-out nuclear World War III, likely featuring the mutually assured destruction scenario. So before I get into the potential scenarios, I should mention really quick, in respect to the numerology of the Oscars, this is the 98th Oscars. Of course, the number 9 equates to the letter I in the English alphabet, which also doubles as the number 1 in Roman numerals. So it's basically 9 or 1, 8, and 18 or 81 is the Swiss National Day. That's their basically their July 1st, July 4th. It's on August 1st, 8-1 or 1-8. So this impending war is being orchestrated by CIA headquarters in Geneva, Switzerland, on the numeric equivalent of their National Day, because this is basically a Swiss organized war. Obviously, the banks in Switzerland have likely bet on both sides of the equation, and the Central Intelligence Agency in Switzerland is orchestrating this event. This notion is reflected throughout the numerology, which I'm going to highlight in a minute. As always, every single political assassination, terror attack, or act of war that the CIA stages has their numeric signature. And in this particular case, the commencement of World War III, if you will, on the evening of March 15th or the date of March 16th elsewhere in the world is going to have the numeric signature of CIA headquarters. So we could start off basically with the evening of March 15th in the United States marks exactly 73 days since Guy Parmelin became the president of Switzerland back on January 1st of 2026. Of course, the number 73 or 37 is equates to 777, which is found in the tetragram of Yahweh, the highest God in Judaism. And that is because Switzerland is the first Jewish state, founded circa August 1st of 1309. And so, of course, if Switzerland is going to trigger World War III, they're going to have their numeric signature. Also, the date of March 16th, which would be European and Middle Eastern time, and it marks exactly 16 days since the CIA staged the last war featuring the U.S. and Israeli attack on Iran. And of course, the number 16 is reflected not only in the date of March 16th, but it's reflected in the 16-pointed star, which is found on the logo of the CIA. So exactly how this is going to go down is obviously not known. There could be, in fact, a real Chinese, Iranian, North Korean, and a Russian attack, bombing, or invasion targeting multiple locations around the world on the evening of March 15th or the date of March 16th that could, in fact, be executed in real time by Chinese, Iranian, North Korean, or Russian soldiers. That's a possibility. But in this particular case, I believe, and as I've been stating on the record for many months now, the CIA has developed the single largest shadow army and single largest shadow navy in the world. And I'm going to explain this in a second here, but basically this is going to be an epic false flag that's going to be executed, a global false flag. For those of you that are familiar with the USS Liberty attack back on June 8th of, I believe, 68, if I'm not mistaken, was an Israeli Air Force and naval attack on the USS Liberty while sailing in the Mediterranean Sea off the coast of the Sinai Peninsula in Egypt, that was brutally attacked, over 100 dead U.S. soldiers by the Israeli military. And so this is basically what's going to happen on March 15th through March 16th, is the CIA is going to stage a global USS Liberty type event where the Israeli military and the Ukrainian military are going to execute attacks under the flag of China, Iran, North Korea, or Russia. And that's what is going to happen. And this is going to likely take place, as I mentioned, during the live broadcast of the 98th Oscars in Los Angeles. So firstly, in respect to the Shadow Army, as I've been stating for many months now, the CIA has developed the single largest Shadow Army in the world, consisting of roughly 150,000 Ukrainian troops. If you go to Wikipedia and you look up how many troops are killed in the Russo-Ukrainian War, it will state 140,000. So I believe that these numbers are grossly inflated, and are fabricated almost outright. This is evidenced by the fact that we have more video footage of the Vietnam War in the 70s than we do of the Russo-Ukrainian War. We're talking civilian massacres, bombings, tanks blowing up tanks, and so on and so forth, planes dropping bombs. We have more footage from Vietnam War than we do from the Russo-Ukrainian War, even though every single drone, and this is a drone war that's being waged, every single drone and every person in the field has a cell phone which has a camera, yet the video footage is not being, there is no video footage to speak of. So this suggests that this war is largely a psyop, which suggests that the 140,000 casualties allegedly incurred by the Ukraine in the war against Russia are in fact part of this shadow army. And the date of March 16th, when this attack is expected, marks exactly 97 days since Royal Air Force Lance Corporal George Hooley was killed in a training accident, i.e. a blood sacrifice, in Ukraine back on December 9th of 2025. Who knew that the Royal Air Force was in Ukraine training Ukrainian soldiers? But this is apparently what they're planning on doing, is they're outfitting these 150,000 Ukrainian soldiers for an airborne assault either on Russia or on Europe, wearing either Ukrainian, Belarusian, or Russian uniforms. And the number 97, because the number 9 doubles as the letter I, or equates to the letter I in the English alphabet, which also doubles as the number 1, the number 97 is essentially the number 17, which equates to the letter Q as in coup d'etat, because they're going to use these Ukrainian forces to basically overthrow the current order in Europe. So evidently, the CIA is planning on using these 150,000 Ukrainian troops to basically to airdrop them for an airborne assault either in Europe um, and under the guise of a Russian attack, or they'll be used to attack Moscow uh, in order to trigger World War III, possibly even wearing European Union nation uniforms. So this notion is corroborated by the fact that the CIA has staged two major military exercises in Belarus entitled Zapad, Zapad 2021 and Zapad 2025. Zapad translates to west in English, so this means that Russia is going to be going west. That is because they plan to frame Russia for an attack on Europe using these Ukrainian troops. And this notion is corroborated by the fact that the date of March 16th, when the invasion is expected, marks exactly 181 days since the CIA staged Zapad 2025 in Belarus with, what is it, 150,000 Russian troops. And they were executing a chemical, biological, radiological, and nuclear exercise. That is because they're going to use blood agents, choking agents, nerve agents in this impending attack on Europe. And the number 181 is not a mistake. Of course, the number 181, the number 81 is found in the date of the Swiss National Day, the birth of Switzerland, which is August 1st, because this is an attack by Switzerland. Also, the date of March 16th marks the 6-month anniversary since the conclusion of Zapad 2025, and of course the number 6 is reflected in the 6-pointed star of Israel, which is likely going to be the Air Force that drops these Ukrainian soldiers. So you have a Zionist, a Jewish Zionist named Vladimir Zelensky that's heading Ukraine, and then you have a Jewish Zionist named Benjamin Netanyahu, which is heading Israel, and they're working in tandem to attack Europe to trigger World War III, to get the United States, Europe, and Russia into a global conflict. Also, the date of March 16th marks exactly 1,643 days since the CIA staged Zapad 2021 in the nation of Belarus, which was also coincidentally 150,000 Russian troops. So we have two major operations, exercises in Belarus, which borders 3 European nations, Poland, Germany, and Ukraine. And they are exercising chemical, biological, radiological, and nuclear exercises with the exact same amount, roughly, of the amount of dead soldiers on the Ukrainian side. So we have 140,000 dead, and we have two 150,000 man military exercises. And that is not a coincidence, because the reason why they staged these exercises with Russia is to frame Russia for the attack. So they did exactly what they're going to do, is they put them on the border with the European Union nations, or NATO nations, and they were exercising CBRN exercises with the exact amount of troops. That's not a coincidence, because this is exactly what this attack is going to entail. So that's how likely how the CIA is going to stage a Russian attack on the date of March 16th, and then also on March 16th and the evening of March 15th in the United States, the CIA is going to stage a Shadow Navy attack, which is with the Israeli Navy, which is the single largest Shadow Navy in the world. This is consisting of decommissioned ships and submarines. So when the United States gets a new aircraft carrier, they scrap the old one. In reality, they're going to Israel. And so because the CIA controls all the satellites and all the radar, these ships and submarines are able to basically be stealth around the world and undetectable by US, Russia, China, India, etc. They also have a Navy consisting of advanced prototypes. So when Raytheon or McDonnell Douglas or Boeing build a prototype for a new ship, for a new plane, for a new submarine, they are granted to Israel. And Israel has these advanced weapons and these Shadow Fleet, which they plan to launch a full-scale attack targeting multiple locations from the sea. And so this will likely feature Dolphin-class, German-made Dolphin-class submarines of the Israeli Navy, aircraft carriers and ships that are going to be launching what is essentially going to be a naval bombardment targeting United States Armed Forces related military installations around the world, possibly in Japan, South Korea, the Philippines, Singapore, Australia, New Zealand, and then also possibly in the Mediterranean or the Middle East. And they are going to frame Russia, Iran, and China for this impending attack, which they're going to say is coordinated because they plan on staging it in multiple locations. So they're going to blame Iran for the attack in the Middle East. They're going to blame Russia for the attack in the North Sea and in Scandinavia. They're going to blame China for the attack in the Asian Pacific theater. And they're likely going to stage an attack on California also during the live broadcast of the Oscars. And in order to basically essentially frame Russia, China, and Iran for this impending attack, they staged multiple naval drills with the three countries, which is unprecedented. The last of which was held on January 9th through 16th of 2026, entitled Operation Will for Peace, off the coast of South Africa, which involved the Chinese, Iranian, Russian navies. In the event of so the date of March 16th marked exactly 59 days since this Will for Peace exercise concluded, and in the event of a second naval exercise by China, Iran, and Russia on the date of March 16th, it would mark two such events in 60 days. And of course, 26 equates the letter Z, which is an acronym for Zionism, and that is because this attack is going to be executed by the Zionist military known as the Israeli Navy. Also, the date of March 16th marked exactly 1,514 days since the CIA staged Operation Chiru 2022 in the Indian Ocean back on January 22nd of 2022, which also coincidentally involved the Chinese, Iranian, Russian navies. And the date of March 16th also marks 2,267 days since the CIA staged a joint naval exercise in the Indian Ocean with China, Iran, and Russia back on December 31st of 2019. Of course, the number 26 found in the number of 2267 equates the letter Z, which is an acronym for Zionism, because it is in fact the Israeli Navy. And lastly, in order to frame the leaders of these countries and photograph them together and to sell this narrative of global collusion between the three countries, Chinese President Xi Jinping, Russian President Vladimir Putin, and then Iranian President Hassan Rouhani were photographed together on the sidelines of the Shanghai Cooperation Organization Summit, the SCO, in Beijing, China, back on June 14th of 2019. And the date of March 16th marks exactly 2,467 days since these leaders were colluding together, plotting this attack. And so, of course, the number 2467 contains the number 24, which equates to the letter X, which is known internationally as a symbol of death. And then it also features the number 26, which equates to the letter Z, which is an acronym for Zionism. And that is because the Israeli Navy is going to stage an alleged Chinese, Iranian, and Russian naval attack targeting multiple countries around the world on the date of March 16th. Really quick, in closing, I just want to highlight the most likely scenarios. Obviously, because I make these videos at certain times and I've repeated this information in hopes to prevent this attack, it's highly likely that the CIA would change the particular locations in order to avoid making me correct in my predictions. But essentially, the nuts and bolts, the bread and butter, so to speak, of this impending attack is obviously a major false flag that's going to be executed by the Israeli military and the Ukrainian military, both of which are being led by Zionist, rabid warmongers that are desperately trying to get the United States into a global conflict with Russia, China, and or Iran. They've succeeded with Iran, and now they're trying to get China and Russia to attack the United States, and so they have to stage a false flag. So in respect to Russia, we can expect a false flag attack targeting Moscow, likely assassinating Russian President Vladimir Putin. There's also the possibility that the CIA will use the aforementioned shadow army of Ukraine to attack European capitals, Vienna, London, Berlin, Rome, etc., etc., etc. And of course, this shadow army of Ukraine is going to make an incursion either into Russian, posing as NATO forces, or either into Europe, posing as Russian forces. And so that is expected. In respect to China, an attack or invasion of Taiwan, Thailand, Japan, the Philippines, Singapore, Australia, New Zealand is expected. There's also the high likelihood that the CIA is going to stage a Chinese biological, chemical, radiological, or nuclear attack targeting United States armed forces, their bases that are throughout the Asian Pacific theater. And there's also the high likelihood that the CIA will stage ballistic missile strikes targeting Europe, the United States, or Asia under the guise of an attack by China, Russia, or Iran. In respect to Iran, of course, targeting the United States Armed Forces military installations is expected, but also a 9/11 style nuclear event. So this is basically where they fly a plane into New York City, into Washington, D.C., and claim that it was an Iranian nuclear attack. That is why Iran was framed for the hijacking of Malaysian Airlines flight MH370 back on March 8th of 2014. And if the CIA stages a false flag North Korean attack, it will most likely target South Korea, and this will likely feature some sort of chemical-related attack targeting the DMZ zone, the demilitarized zone between North Korea and South Korea, or it could be a false flag attack targeting United States Armed Forces and military installations in the Republic of Korea. So obviously, if this comes to fruition in reality, it will likely commence during the live broadcast of the 98 Oscars in Los Angeles, California, on March 15th of 2026. So if this comes to fruition in reality as suspected, I kindly ask that you download this video and share it with local, state, federal law enforcement, military, and intelligence officials, as well as with global, national, and international media outlets. Peace.